Welcome back. So in this particular screencast, I want to take you through a little bit more on data types. So in the previous screencast, I mentioned a little bit about strings, and this here is a string, and what we have here rather is just a pure numeric value. Okay, so strings, what are they? You can consider them like just another type of variable. So if I want to, I could type into here, hello world. What happens when I press enter? MATLAB says answer is equal to hello world. Okay, if that surprises you, don't feel bad. But all that's important to note is that our answer variable here, see it has a little AB symbol here. That's to indicate that it's a string type and its value is hello world. Okay, so just like if I said 3, for example, MATLAB would say the answer is equal to 3. You'll notice that the answer variable has changed up here in the workspace. If I said 3 plus 4, I would get my answer and it would be a numeric value again. Okay, so strings on their own are not very useful in computer programming, but what we use them for is more for a contextual interface to the user. So for example, through the course of your program, it might be good to inform the user of what the computer's doing for asking questions. So for example, here I use the string to say that 2 times I is equal to something. If I just run this script again for you, for example, if I didn't have this 2 times I equals string like I do in my script here, then these would have no meaning to them. And to just purely demonstrate that, I'm going to comment out this line. What I mean by comment out is just put a percent symbol at the front. What this means to MATLAB is that everything following the percent symbol is a comment and it won't be run as code. So if I run that now, all I get is the 2 times I printed to the screen, except there's no context to it. What are these values? If I couldn't see the code, then it might be a little bit confusing. So that's what we use strings for. And to demonstrate how they're useful, I'm going to introduce you now to logical variables, okay? Logical variables are yet another type of data type. So far we have normal numeric values such as this one we've generated here. We have strings such as the hello world made up the top. Strings need the single quotation to distinguish them from the others. Now, for logical type variables, how do we get those? Well, let's ask MATLAB a question. The question might be, is 3 bigger than 5? It would say 0. Okay, this is actually computer speak for false. And if you have a look up here in the workspace, you'll see there's a tick in our box now. Not a grid like we had for the numeric values, and not an AB like we did for the strings, but now a tick. And this indicates it's a logical variable. Okay, so MATLAB has now told us that 3 is not bigger than 5. Now, what if I wanted to say something like, is 3 equal to 5? By the way, these examples are kind of pointless. I hope that you guys are aware that 3 is not equal to 5. But when we do substitute these with various variables, they become a lot more relevant. So, for example, we might have a variable b, and within our code, we need to know why or if it is equal to 3. But for now, I'm just demonstrating. So we ask MATLAB, is 3 equal to 5? Luckily, it tells us no, it is not equal to 5. And the answer remains false. Okay, not 0, but false. So now one last comparison. Is 3 not equal to 5? Okay, this is how MATLAB uses not equal. And it will say that is true. We still have a logical variable. Its value is 1. True. Okay. So now let's mix up this script a little bit with our logical variables and some strings. So we have a for loop, and this for loop is basically going to print values of I. I'm going to change this so it prints values of I every time. What if we could do something a little bit more tricky, like I want it to tell me when the value of I is less than 3 and when it's greater than 3. So what I might do is say, if I is less than 3, okay, we want to do something. Remember I said I want to display maybe something like I is less than 3. There's my string. Okay, what if I is not less than 3? then we should include an else clause, okay? So if I is bigger than 3, this line of code will not run, will fall into the else statement, in which case I want to say I is greater than 3. Oops. Oh, I missed my quotation mark there. See how MATLAB's yelling at me with the red over here? It's a good way to tell that you're doing something wrong. Okay. There's still something missing, and that's my end statement. Every if needs an end, and you'll notice that these things should generally be aligned. Okay. So what do you think is going to happen when I run this? Let me clear the screen. So the first time through, I equals 1, I will be less than 3. We should get this message. It will exit the if statement because this block of code is executed, not this block of code. And then it will display the value of I. Next time through, it will be 2. So we should get this message a total of 3 times, and then we should get this message twice. Or the other way around. Okay, so there you have it. These strings are useful to provide information to the user, to ask questions, and to get some interaction. And the logical variables that are created from a statement such as this are useful to execute portions of code that we want.